Welcome everyone to Doga Yoga. Today we're doing a beautiful slow flow class. We'll be moving nice and consideredly, taking our time, really savoring the sensation. So we're going to start in mountain pose today. Ground down through our big toes, spread our little toes, palms wide. Melt the shoulder blades down the back, grow a little taller. Shut down the eyes and just breathe. Start to find your center of gravity, your center self. You might like to lean forward and back, side and side. Take some circles around the feet before you come to center and stillness. Inhale, fill the belly, the ribs, the collarbones. And release. And our next inhale, take a very slow, big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. Grab the right wrist with our left hand, bend our left knee, place our right foot behind us and lean. Send the hips towards the right, gaze towards the right, hands to the left. Start to wake up the body. Lengthen on your inhale a little, take the edge off and then lean, sink a little deeper. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. When you're ready, come on up. Put that foot down, reach the fingers to the sky. Take your time. Not moving quickly today, switching. So bend that right knee, left foot behind us. Send the hips towards the left, hands towards the right. Gaze goes up, just past our armpit pretty much. So flow with your breath here, lengthen and lean. Lengthen and lean. Take your time. When you're ready, come on up. Gently plant that foot, reach the fingers, and just take your stance a little bit wider than your hips. Send the hands wide, place them on the hips. We're just going to bend the knees here, kind of sinking down into a little bit of a squat. We're going to place one hand on one knee, one hand on the other. Just send our crown of the head forward, tailbone back, spine is still long, chest is still open. So if I lengthen your inhale, we're going to drop our left shoulder, gaze goes towards the right, push into the knee, twist. Hold here for a few breaths. And then come back to center. Right shoulder drops, gaze goes over, and twist. Come on back to center, take your time, find length, and drop, twist. Push into that knee, gaze goes to the side of the room or over that top shoulder. Come back to center. And twist. Take a couple of breaths here, really savor. Before we come on up, gently lift yourself back up, straighten the legs. I'm going to turn the heels out, so just wriggle the heels out, toes in, make sure they're in alignment, hands on the hips, find a length here. And we're just going to gently fold forward, so you might have quite a bend in the knees, you might have blocks or a chair in front of you to help you hinge from the hips. Sending the crown of the head towards the earth. Hands come underneath our shoulders for support. We're putting weight into the balls of our feet, and that'll help you lengthen the hamstrings and calves a little more. Draw the navel to the spine, kind of tuck it up so that you can kind of let the whole upper body just release. We're releasing the weight of the world off our shoulders. The neck is becoming long, so you should get yes or no. See if we're holding any tension there, and relax. Check in with the shoulders, kind of melt it away. Imagine with each inhale, we're creating length and space in the spine. So this is something we don't do very often. Take weight, take all that compression off the spine and let it stretch out. To inhale, imagine that length, that space coming into here, and then just let it go. For the whole upper body just become soft, surrendered to gravity. When you're ready, come on up, halfway lift. So just push into the fingers, crown of the head points towards the front of the room, bend the knees generously, really activate the core and roll on up. Oh, that feels nice. I'm going to place the hands to the hips. I'm going to turn towards the left. So left toes just turn towards the side of the room. Right toes come 45 degrees. We're going to bend our knee and square off our hips towards the right. Our crown of the head is facing the ceiling. You can place one hand on the belly, one hand on the tailbone to really tuck under the tailbone, and you'll feel a deeper stretch in that hamstring because of it. And when you're ready, you can either stay here, keep your hands on your hips, or send them high to the sky. Warrior one. You might like to take your stance a little wider. You might like to shorten it. Really activate that back leg all the time. Imagine we're holding a $50 note down with the back outside edge of that foot, activating that kneecap. When we're ready, we're gently going to bend our elbows. Fingers stay wide to the sky. Really opening up the heart space here. And the arms long, palms up. Beautiful. Sweep the hands forward, up, and then we're going to twist. We're just going to revolve the feet, coming into warrior one on the other side. How cool is that? Nice graceful move. Sink the hips down, hands high. You can place one hand on the belly, one hand on the tailbone, tucking under. Really imagine we're holding something important down with the outside edge of that back foot, activating that back kneecap. Drawing the front foot forward, hip, back. And when you're ready, elbows wide. Gaze to the sky, opening up the heart space. Hands go wide and up, palms face the ceiling. When you're ready, hands sweep forward, down, up, and we're revolving warrior one back onto the other side. Sink it down, really find your space here, square off the hips. Palms touch, interlace the fingers, reach the index finger or pointer finger really high. And then we're going to release the hands and then clasp them at the lower back. So we're going to switch this a few times. So clasp here, reach down, and gaze high, and then release. Big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch, palms interlace. Release, lower back, send the knuckles down, point towards the floor. Release, and up. One more, we're going to release, clasp them at the lower back. Really open up the chest here, squeeze the shoulder blades, release the hands. I'm going to sweep them forward, up. You got it. Go to the other side, warrior one. Really imagine we're pushing something important down with that back foot. Clasp the hands here, fingers high, reach. And then switch, hands wide to tailbone. Knuckles down, gaze high, breathe. Switch and switch. Switch and switch. I'm going to hold here, releasing the knuckles down, gaze goes high, hands release, sweep them forward and up, and we're just coming to the front of our mat now. So toes up, just facing the front of the mat. Our heels go in, our toes go out, and our elbows come into that wide cactus arms like we were doing before, and the knees come bent. So just see if we can see our big toes, and if we can't, just try and lean back a little so we can. And if that's hard for you, imagine we're kind of hugging a barrel or a tree. Use the arms as a counterbalance to enable you to think back a little. So we're just going to flow here. Inhale, rise. Hold, breathe, and sink. 2, 3, 4. Rise. 2, 3, 4. Sink. 2, 3, 4. Rise. 2, 3, 4. Sink. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 5, 4. We got this. 3, 2, 1, and rise. Fingers touch. Turn to the front of our mat. Hands come to our hips, and we're simply going to step on up. Just find your comfy space here. One hand on the belly, one hand on the tummy. Oh, the tailbone, tuck under. Big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. And swan dive, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, and just step back into tabletop position. Take a little cat-cow here, drop the belly, open up the chest, cow. And exhale, cat. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. When we're ready, we're going to cross our shins and roll on back onto our buttocks. And we're going to come into boat. So if option 1 here is heels touch the ground. Imagine we're zipping the legs up so the legs don't come apart. And hands come to the thighs, and we're just lengthening the spine and leaning back. You'll feel this kind of core activate, the Agni, the fire. So you can just stay here practicing. You might actually practice trying lifting one heel off the ground and then the other. And if you'd like to go on, rock back onto your sacrum, so that not the tailbone, a little bit further back and not quite the lower back. Lift the legs up. You can flex or point the toes into boat. Legs are zipped together, nice and strong. Another option to release the hands. No hands, mum. And breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to hold. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath and lower down. Give our legs a little bit of a hug, a little bit of a rock. We're just going to come into cross-legged and come into a twist. So left hand on right knee, right hand behind us, length and revolve. Gaze goes to the side of the room or over that back shoulder. Finding length on our inhale and exhale, releasing. And ready, switch. Length and revolve. And come back. Soles of the feet come together. Grab the shins or the toes, whatever feels good for you, length. And we're just folding over our legs here. Now the heels don't need to be super close to the groin, they're actually a little bit out, so we're working the outside edges of our thighs today instead of the inside edges. So lean on down, and it could be just a millimeter, and focus on your breath. Rise up. Come into a comfy position, cross-legged, whatever works for you. And we're just going to take 5 deep breaths in silence here, the palms facing up on the knees. When we're ready, we'll take one big arm circle up overhead, fingertips touch. And back to heart center. Thank you so much for stepping on the mat with me today. Sending lots of love and gratitude. Namaste.